more towards a mostly vegetarian menu because we have realized while organizing the SU that the vegetarian option most of the time is first of all the cheaper one and therefore could help us make the events more feasible. Second of all, it is really, really complicated to deal with all of the restrictions that are out there. By saying that we would make the default menu mainly vegetarian, we could eliminate things like the difference between meat, vegetarian, halal, and all of the other, like not all of them, but a lot of the religious constrictions there are in food. And if you look into the future, it would also help us tackle our sustainability and our food environment trend.
Thank you. Do we have any points? Ava? Annika? Sorry, didn't see you. Gabriel?
Gabriel Bresner, just to ask Charmaine, is the live stream on? Yes.
Charmaine?
Yes, I send the link already.
Okay. Now, Ava.
Annika out of Austria would like to, do you hear me? Annika out of Austria would also like to state our regulations. So after the seconding this motion, because we PhD on all points, also we want to emphasize the positive effects a mainly vegetarian diet has on sustainability and health. Furthermore, we want to say again that you remember it, that it really makes it easier to cater for halal and kosher food. And also we want to take away your fear that it might be more difficult with other dietary restrictions according to allergies, because allergies are always need to be catered for and always different from the main food, and that won't be an issue. And in the end, just to say the health point again, we are all pharmacy students in the healthcare field, and we do learn in dietary classes in university that mainly meaty food is not supporting our health. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to the next point, which is BPHD. Okay, then Fed.
Victor Ferrer, Spain. We would like to state that as an association, as an ex-AARC, we don't really see like the point of carrying the motion, as the RCs already take care of the dietary restrictions or preference. So settling the default menu as vegetarian would only lead to dietary issues for the majority of the participants, as well as for the RC, for example.
Thank you. Please wait until I call your name and the scrutineer will come to you. Don't worry. BPHD.
I would also like to kind of point out that we had the feedback about the food at the SU, and sure, there was some feedback about people not really enjoying the food or that bread was soggy or something, but nobody actually came forward and said they missed meat in their diet. That was not a concern of any of the participants. And I would like to point out that this is a very soft wording. You can see that we put the mainly in there and work towards. This is not a big pressure for any of the future RCs that are already in place and already working on it to now change everything that they have done. It's just if somebody new starts up, maybe they should take this into consideration and look forward to it.
Thank you. We have a direct from. Do you know who was first? Okay, BPSA UK.
Sorry, after BPSA United Kingdom, BPSA recognized the intention of making the class very smooth. However, in order to make sure that clarification is made, BPSA would like to propose like a modification, adding a clause saying that each option will still be provided, but as an optional option. Is it grammatically correct? Okay, something like that. We'll talk to grammar later, and something like this. Thank you.
Okay, we had a clarification from BPHD first.
What do you mean by an optional option of meat? Like, do you mean that if, like, you, for example, you would serve pasta with sauce, would there be, like, additional meat that you could sprinkle on top in case you want to, but not if you are not? Sorry.
Okay, first off, was it still a clarification, BPSA? Bullshit from AFOP?
Annika asked so BPSA, but I would really enjoy a sprinkle meat, like cheese, like grated cheese, grated meat, you always sprinkle above all dishes. Thank you.
Thank you. BPSA, is this a direct to what BPHD said? Then we will take it as a new point. SOP, is it a direct to what BPHD said? It is, then you can have a direct. Get up, stand up please, so those screens can see you.
I'm in Joffrey, Denmark. We just want to state that we don't understand why halal and other options are given, because when we come here, the only option we're giving is vegetarian.
Just so you know, this was a new point, so please keep that in mind. Point of information from BPHD.
I just want to say that this was the case at this event, but it hasn't been at all previous EPSA events, so therefore it might not be applicable here, but at a lot of other ones.
Okay, BPHD, name and position, please. BPSA, is this a direct to BPHD? Did you drop it? We will take it as a new point if you're not sure. Then we'll go to, okay, a clarification first? A point of information from Nalena.
But in NDPA, in the registration forms for the events, normally halal is an option. We have options of like vegetarian, vegan, halal, like multiple, and then how it's sold is up to the individual.
Thank you. Is it still a clarification from, no? No. Okay, then we'll take new points. Що це with a new point?
We would like to make a point that we don't believe this is something that should be mandated with a motion, because if anything, it makes things more complicated for the reception committee. And we have discussed it a few times during this day also that we want to give them, to make their work easier, to find new hosts, not to restrict them. And vegetarian options are on the table as it is. This just excludes meat more.
I saw a show of emotion, so if you could do it again, so we can see if you agree or not, because there was a general showing of emotions. Okay, thank you. Next up, we have a direct from AFOP.
Annika of Austria, we would like to explain the motion again. So, it is to work towards creating the default menu as mainly vegetarian. This doesn't mean that all the food is only vegetarian. It means that the default menu is mainly vegetarian. So there could be meat in the default menu anyways, because it's mainly, not totally. And the default menu is not it's not the only menu, because you have allergies, you have dietary restrictions, you have different things. So normally there should be multiple menus. Or for example, if you would get sandwiches, you could choose, and then you would just have the default. You would have halal, you would have and nuts, you would have, I need to only eat meat, you have, like not exactly like this, but just so to explain that it's not so restrictive as you think. Thank you.
Thank you. We had a clarification from Fesper.
Vlad Vesper, Romania. So, just to make it more clear, I would like to address this question. Mainly vegetarian is a new option because I think this already exists. You can order a vegetarian and add a top of a meatball or something on top, you know?
Point of information from dropped. First we had a direct from Max, but is it a direct to what they said? Okay. Clarification from Marlene.
But again, BPA, so your question was whether mainly vegetarian is then a new option in the registration form or somewhere else?
Yes, because you kind of already have it.
Raise a point, please. Vesper.
Yes, we kind of already have that. We can order vegetarian and on top a little bit of meat. It still exists today.
BPSA, is this a direct or will it? Okay, dropped. AFOP, is it a direct? Go ahead.
Annika, Austria. Okay, so maybe I wasn't clear enough before. So this is about. So now we have the buffet. So the buffet has mainly meat and it has a few vegetarian options. So the thing is that we would like to have the default menu that if you don't choose a menu, you would get something that is mainly vegetarian. Mainly doesn't mean I have the dish and then I sprinkle some meat on top. It means that most of the things are vegetarian, but there might be, if it's unavoidable because of the buffet, there might be also a meat option because there are other people in the hotel and we can't force the hotel to serve vegetarian food to everyone when we're there. It's just to make it easier for the reception committee, if you understand what I mean. Yes,
Okay, before we move on, I would just like to say that we have 5 directs and about 10-ish new points. So please keep that in mind and please don't repeat what you said just to have your point come across one more time. So, BPSA, is it a direct to AFOP? Yes?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Out of BPSA United Kingdom, we understand this because we understand what default means, but however, we would like it to be very clear in the motion so that other delegates will not be confused. That's why we're suggesting if you can put, like for example, meat-containing dishes as an optional choice at the end of the class so that people will not confuse and blaming this motion making every dish a vegetarian. Because otherwise the conclusion will be all based on words in English languages.
Okay. Do the proposer and seconder agree with the change that BPSA has in mind? Seconder? It's a no. Is there a seconder to the amendment that BPSA is proposing? None. Is there? Please vocalize. Yes? GPSF. Okay, technical, Miha?
No, PC, can I just ask to please repeat the new wording?
BPSA?
After BPSA United Kingdom, the amendment is as follows. So at the end of the motion, write that meat-containing dishes would be an optional choice in this. Would be an optional choice in this election, or would remain an option. Yeah.
Just a second. Okay, thank you for bearing with us. GPSF, do you agree with with the wording of this motion? Good. And Gabriel? Wait. Then I will open the floor for discussion on the motion, which I will not read. Please raise your points if you have them. I have a clarification first. So clarification from point of information SFD. Just 1 second. Please keep all of your points high until one of the PC makes direct eye contact at you, looks at you, and gives you a thumbs up. SFD, sorry.
Yes, I really agree. We do not believe that this is the right wording, since the official definition of vegetarian is not
SFD, this is not a point of information. This is a new point.
No, it is.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
We will write it down as a new point. Thank you. So just to clarify, because we do have a lot of those going on, a point of information is not an opinion on the motion that we're discussing right now. So please keep that in mind and don't misuse points. We have a new point from CZP. Clarification from Shasafada.
Slovenia. We would just like to ask, especially with this wording, if this would actually change anything from the way we are doing it now, because this just means there are options for both. We don't understand if this would change the practice right now.
We will take an answer to the clarification first, so BPHD.
Teresa, BPHD. I think it would change something, because if we say something is mainly vegetarian, that means people can choose whether they want vegetarian or meat. We have multiple times had the issue that people, when they were sandwiches or something, would choose the vegetarian option just because they like the cheese sandwich more than the ham was, and then the real vegetarians were out of options. So we feel like this could maybe do something about it, and honestly, it saves us money, it makes it easier to organize. It changes a lot.
Technical from AFEP.
Shazam, in Portugal, the clarification was given to this motion, which was proposed by BPSA and seconded by GPSF. So, the discussion of things is pretty chaotic, so please, let's just keep it easier.
Clarification? Okay, wait a minute. Okay, we have a point of information from observer. Go ahead. Stand up.
Yasmin, observer. I just wanted to point out that in the SU feedbacks, if you go to page 58, there is actually people who were not happy about not having meat. So there were complaints.
Now we will take AFOS with their clarification.
Annika Appel, Austria. Annika Appel, Austria. We're a bit confused by the wording now. I hope this is really a clarification on your side. So would all options have to be put there now, so in order to keep the allergy and stuff? Because it looks now like exposed to options, and we are a bit confused. Just to know, but maybe the exact clarifiers for us.
Point of information from Michal.
Michal PC, so just to remind everyone, we are now discussing the amendment that was proposed by BPSA, seconded by GPSF, in the wording that is displayed. Please do not speak up unless granted the floor. Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you. I was just going to say that as well. So please keep it all in mind. We will take a new point now from CZPSA.
Dominik CZPSA Czech Republic. We feel like that we are just talking about that as if every event was just about buffets and choosing when you come there, because I feel like that's not really a regular practice. Usually you just have the food that you ordered in the form, so you either have like a meat or a vegetarian or any other kind. But if it was like this, which it usually is, then it doesn't really apply in these things. Thank you.
9.3. Second.
Okay. We have a 9.3 proposed by PPSA, seconded by BPSA. Good. I will now open the floor for discussion on the 9.3. So we will be discussing whether or not we want to close the floor. Afet.
Just to wrap in Portugal, we believe that we should close the floor for discussion because the discussion is not being fruitful at all.
Thank you. SFD.
Just a Lithuania, we do not believe that we should post the vote on the amendment of this motion because we believe there is a technical mistake that needs to be corrected to get the concepts right.
Okay, are there any new points on the 9.3? Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, I close the floor for discussion on the 9.3.
And now we will proceed to voting on the 9.3, which is closing the discussion. Are there any abstentions to the 9.3? Is there anyone against the 9.3? Raise your voting cards at the same time and up high. Who is for the 9.3? We have to redo the vote because someone voted twice. Please pay attention. Don't laugh. Please respect each other. This is confusing for all of us. So it'll be fine. We'll vote again on the 9.3 on closing the floor for discussion. Are there any abstentions? Who is against the 9.3? Who is for the 9.3? Okay, we have 19 votes for, 5 against, no abstentions. So we are closing the floor for discussion on the amendment. Now we will proceed to voting on the amendment. Okay, let's vote. Are there any abstentions? Who is against the amendment? Voting cards are to be raised high at the same time. Please don't influence each other. Who is for the amendment of the motion? Ten. Okay. Okay, silence. I have 10 votes for, 14 against, 0 abstentions, so the amendment wasn't carried. Now we will proceed to discuss on the original motion. Gabriel.
Gabriel, President, to give the executive opinion on this, we are for the approval of this motion, even though we do see that in some countries it might be a small additional burden for the RC. We think it's very important for sustainability reasons and that it can have a really positive impact on EFSA's image. So we recommend for its approval.
Thank you. We have a new point from Max.
Thanks, Willie, EFSA alumnus. I just want to clarify, maybe because I see a lot of confusion going on. If the menu is mainly vegetarian, that means that, for example, in this hall over there, like out of the 8 containers, more than 4 contain no meat. So you can still take it and you can still register as a meat eater and like still take it. But if you register as a vegetarian, for example, for this event, then there was 2 other containers that you could eat out of. So, and as like non-vegetarians, you probably don't notice it because you have a lot of options. But like for vegetarians, the 2 options that you mostly had was rice and potatoes. And I didn't like to have carbs with carbs all week, but okay. Yeah, so that's in the end what this means. Just to have a lot more vegetarian food because that can be eaten by almost anybody. You can still have meat in your options, and you can still also represent the meat if it's in your culture more present. That doesn't change anything. It just gives more options for the people who are at the disadvantages.
Thank you. We have a technical from Gabriel.
Gabriel, President, please give the executive 2 or 3 minutes to discuss on the interpretation of this and whether or not we want to propose clarification of the word.
Okay, we will take a short technical break. Please do remember that the standing orders are still in place. Standing orders are still in place. Observers, please, if you have something to talk about, leave the room. Thank you. Silence, please. I want complete silence, except for the executive, because they have something to talk about. You can whisper with your delegate, but I need whisper. Technical from Asaf.
We would like to propose to close all the windows because I don't know for you guys on that side or on here, the sound of the cars, plus the wind, it's very distracting, especially when we're discussing serious problems.
Okay, there's general agreement, scrutineers. Thank you. Clarification from Gabriel.
Okay, Gabriel, half technical, but half clarification. Gabriel, President, so as you might know, the executive is the one interpreting regulations, and working statements are included in that. And our interpretation as executive would be that this motion says, refers to meals. So it would be over 50% tracked towards, it's not like restricted. As BPHD, over 50% of the meals happening in the Congress will be vegetarian. It would not refer to the buffet option where over half of the buffet options would be vegetarian. So our clarification is to ask the proposer and secretary if this is indeed what they would like.
Okay, the BPHD, point of information, was it? Okay, you can go.
So we thought about this for a long time. So there's a BPHD. So we thought about this for a long time, and we decided it's in the sense of not making things hard for the RCs. We do not want to have a firm percentage in there. So they don't have to go to all the caterers and be like, do you have 66% of all meals vegetarian or something like that? So we think that would be easier to just say, try your best.
Okay, thank you. We have a clarification from Gabriel.
Gabriel, President, but just to confirm, meals and not sections of meals. Like the meal, if the whole meal is mainly vegetarian, or like for example, we have a buffet here. For our interpretation initially, this would never count as one of the main vegetarian meals because it includes, like we wouldn't count it as a vegetarian meal just because it has vegetarian options, if that makes sense. So, just wanted to know which one you would want.
BPHD?
So we just meant that overall should be.
In that case, doesn't that make this motion useless? It's not gonna
Okay, I see general agreement. And we'll, Afab?
Annika of Austria, no, because the lunch is really not vegetarian and vegans basically diet or something. Thank you.
a direct to Afab. Okay, go.
Yeah, so maybe this could be corrected with better vegetarian options, not less meat.
SFD with a direct to Shasafada. Okay.
Yes, that is not the point. By this motion, we want to reduce we would reduce the overall consumption of meat. So people who don't necessarily want meat, they would get a vegetarian option. That would be better for our sustainability and probably better for our health. So if we just include vegetarian, that would be nice too. But the whole point of this motion is really different.
Okay, thank you. We will take a new point from SFD. Do you still have a new point?
9.3.
That's too much time spent between the proposing and the seconding. Sorry.
9.3. Second.
Okay. We have a 9.3 proposed by VFSO, seconded by Fassbara. Okay, we will now go on to discuss the 9.3, which, to say again, is closing the floor for discussions. BPHD. Oh, I open the floor for discussions. BPHD.
Teresa, BPHD. We do not think the discussion is closed yet because we have clearly seen some issues for the vegetarian people and the vegan people in the last couple of days. And this is clearly a discussion, so we think if we just close it prematurely, we might make a decision that you have to revise in the next GA or further on.
We have PPSA with a new point.
About PPSA point, I think there is some huge confusion between the delegates, so I think it's not a good time for closing discussion. Like, we have to clarify, like we have more new points, and I think we are here in order to share our points and points of view and opinions. So I think we have to continue this discussion. Thank you.
Are there any new points in the discussion? On the 9.3, I see none. Gabriel.
Dear President, we still need comments.
Okay. We will have a technical pause for the executive. Standing order still in place, silence still in place. Thank you. Silence. I can hear too much noise. So please, you can talk amongst yourselves, the ODs, so two people whispering. Gabriel?
Gabriel, President. So the executive would just like to tell you that we still think that there is a lot to discuss.
Are there any new points on the 9.3? BFSO.
There is no Belgian. I'm not completely sure what the discussion about. Is it about the motion, like how it's spelled, or is it about whether or not we have more vegetarian options? Because, like Germany stated, it grants a lot of
I'll let you know, also for future that's a clarification. So right now, at this moment, we're discussing whether or not we should close the floor for discussion on this. So right now, we're not discussing the motion in any way, shape, or form. Is that good? Clear? Okay, perfect. Are there any new points on the 9.3? SFD?
We would highly encourage you to still have some more discussion on this, so we are now closing those.
Okay, are there any new points? Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, I close the floor for discussion.
And now we can proceed to voting on the 9.3. So I will ask, are there any abstentions to the 9.3? Who is against the 9.3? And who is for closing the floor on the 9.3? Okay, I have 9 votes for, 15 against, no abstentions, so we are not closing the floor for discussion on the motion. Gabriel. Sorry, were you first? Gabriel, just go.
Gabriel, President. Since we saw a lot of confusion when we were discussing among the executive is a change to like amendment to the motion to see if the proposer and the seconder agree. Since the main objective is to reduce the meat consumption as much as possible in not in a restrictive way, we would recommend that you change it to the 64th EFSA General Assembly mandates future RCs to increase the number of vegetarian meals as much as possible during the event and to include this achievement in their final report.
BPHD, as a proposer, do you agree to the executive's amendment? You do. AFOP? You also do. Okay, good. Technical, second. Can you, Gabriel, can you say it again so we can write it down, please?
I will put it in your chat.
Okay, and now I will open the discussion on this. I will continue, we can continue with the discussion on this motion that has been amended. Are there any new points, clarification from Shasta Sapada?
Jaša, što se sada Slovenija, Slovenia. So we are interested in what this would mean for like when we're discussing the buffet options. So when it's the meal in the hotel, this cannot be applied there.
BPHD with a direct.
We're now, we're now really getting into the technicalities of this. This is not about having a buffet or not having a buffet and what exact options you want to have on a buffet. Like, are we also gonna, yeah. But I think it's more about the general direction and easing the process, as well as, like, this is nothing hard to meet. Like, if you don't get it done with your RC, or you prefer to have a traditional dish that really includes meat or something, that is no issue in this whatsoever. You can just write in your report, we would prefer this and this on the buffet, or we would like prefer to have this on our national night. This is not something firm, this is just a general direction that we think we should support for sustainability for the future and for the environment, as well as for more and more vegetarians and vegans.
We had a direct from APEF. Is it a direct to OK? Gabriel.
Gabriel, President, just to state that we agree, and in case there was a buffet, then the RC could just, on their own perspective, say we did not serve individual meals, we served the buffet, and there was a vegetarian option in the buffet every day, for example. You just need to do a reflection on your efforts to reduce meat consumption and promoting environmental sustainability.
Okay, and now we have a new point from Asif.
Double other citizens. We would like to, we agree with the amendment put forward by the RC, as we can understand, especially in terms of the SU, where we got complaints we got some complaints from participants that they were not enough meat options, and we can, I think we understand when they think that we're sort of depriving them of the right to choose what they want to eat. And so for this amendment, we think that this would, if they read it, this amendment face value like this, it would send a better message and be a bit more incentive than saying, move towards a mainly vegetarian meal. Thank you.
Thank you, Asif. We have a new point from AFOP.
Anita of Austria. Just to explain something that happened during this Congress. So in the first day there were literally no vegetarian options. So one of our members wrote in the release group that where are the dietary restriction options, and actually afterwards the FC and CAFTI, I believe, talked to the hotel, and there were more vegetarian options afterwards. So there's always also a possibility to talk to the hotel. As you can talk to a restaurant, you can also talk to a hotel that's not, like if you have to prepare, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't talk about the options. Thank you.
9.3.
We have a 9.3 proposed by APEF, seconded by Fasfara. I will now open the floor for discussion on the 9.3, but just to clarify again, the 9.3 is a motion to close the discussion. Are there any new points on the 9.3? APEF? APEF, just go.
Just APEF Portugal was just proposing to close the discussion because the points are constantly being the same, and we don't think anyone does like as anything to add to the discussion because we're been repeating the same points over and over again.
Gabriel,
Gabriel President, I close the floor for discussion on the 9.3.
and we will proceed to voting on the 9.3. So closing the floor. Are there any abstentions? Who is against the 9.3? Who is for the 9.3? Please, a bit higher. We're having trouble counting things. Okay, we have 23 votes for, none against, 1 abstention. So we're closing the floor for discussion, and we will move on to voting on the motion that reads: the 64th EPSA General Assembly mandates future reception committees to increase the number of vegetarian meals as much as possible during the event and to include this achievement in their final report. Now I'll ask, are there any abstentions? Who is against? Okay. Who is for? Okay, so we are going to have to vote again because one of the delegations forgot to vote. And I will ask again, are there any abstentions? Who is against? No, everybody raise your voting cards at the same time. If you look at other delegations, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to represent the opinion of your own association, not what the others think. Please, keep it in mind. Who is against? Who is for? We have 21 votes for, 3 against, and no abstentions, so the motion was carried. And now we are moving on to the next motion proposed by APEF Portugal, seconded by KMPSV the Netherlands, which reads: the 64th EPSA General Assembly mandates EPSA Executive to investigate how to gather and analyze data regarding EPSA activities and projects by the 65th EPSA General Assembly, the latest. This investigation shall include ways of evaluating EPSA activities and projects accordingly to the data collected. I open the floor for discussion. APEF, yes, please state your motivations.
Josué by Portugal, we propose this because we think that it would be beneficial for APSA to guide their activity in order to the results that they're getting with each one of their projects. This way, they can just have a more beneficial approach to every topic that is important for the students it represents.
Thank you. Next up, KMPSV.
18 KMPSV the Netherlands, so we support this motion because we all know EPSA has a lot of projects and events and activities, but it's always good to evaluate them. However, evaluating them properly can sometimes be a challenge, so therefore we want the executive to come up with a strategy, to present it to us, and then we can decide if the evaluation is proper, and hopefully we can then improve all of EPSA's events, activities, and projects for the future.
Thank you. Next up we have Gabriel.
Gabriel President. We just wanted to ask you to already add some ideas on this because data collection was very broad and we didn't reach a conclusion. We have an idea of what we think we mean, but just to make sure.
Abed?
Just what happened in Portugal, we do not have like fixed ideas what we've been thinking about. For example, not only the attendance of the participants in each one of the activities, but also, for example, the reach of some sort of publications or the end result of each one of the activities that the participants are attending, like the surveys that we do after each project. Our main purpose is to just guide the activity in general, in like try to just adequate it into specific goals and then evaluate if like the EPSA activity in general is actually getting to those goals or not.
Thank you. Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, we would just like to state that we are in support of this motion and is already in line with our current internal investigation on how to increase deliverables for the grants that we usually apply for or other grants. So yeah, we recommend this.
Thank you. Next up we have SFD.
Yes, in Lithuania, we are highly in favor of this motion since we believe activities and projects should be done in order to achieve some kind of goal, at least aligned with the entire strategy, and activities shouldn't be done just for the sake of doing it. And on the same note, what could help the more and more specific KPIs that you
Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, if there are any points, I'm looking forward to discussion on the motion.
And we can proceed to voting on the motion that reads, the 64th EPSA General Assembly mandates EPSA Executive to investigate how to gather and analyze data regarding EPSA activities and projects by the 65th EPSA General Assembly, the latest. This investigation shall include ways of evaluating EPSA activities and projects accordingly to the data collected. Are there any abstentions? Who is against? And who is for? I have 24 votes for, none against, no abstentions. The motion was carried unanimously. Moving on to the motion proposed by APEP Portugal, seconded by SFD Lithuania, which reads, the 64th EPSA General Assembly mandates the 44th EPSA Annual Congress Reception Committee to have the participants' pronouns identification on the event's credentials, and I will ask for motivation. APEP.
Just in Portugal, we've been thinking about this because we actually wanted to propose a regulation change on this to have the pronouns identification on events credentials, but we missed the deadline, so we thought about proposing a motion on it, and then on the next GA pass this through regulation change. However, we have been thinking a little bit better about this, so we are actually proposing an amendment to our own motion, which, can I state it now?
If there are no other points, yes, you can.
Okay, perfect. So we're actually proposing to change it to the 64th General Assembly mandates the 44th EPSA Annual Congress Reception Committee to provide participants the option of having their pronouns on their credentials.
Does the seconder agree? Yes, they do. Okay, we will showcase it on the... Could you repeat, please?
Okay, sure. This is by Portugal. The 64th General Assembly mandates the 44th EPSA Annual Congress Reception Committee to provide participants the option of having their pronouns or their credentials.
Okay, can you check it, please? Is it okay? Wait, I can make it bigger and read it. Is this what you had in mind? You agree. Okay, the seconder agrees. APEP?
Josué, Portugal, and now to also explain our motivation to actually propose this amendment is because we noticed that some people identify with any any other pronouns that he, him, or she, her usually struggle a little bit during EBSA events because people sometimes don't notice that they identify that way, and having the option of having it in the credentials would just easy the process because usually when we're meeting someone in an EBSA event, we always look at the credentials to see the name, and we see also the pronouns there, and it's just easier for everyone. We just not have that risk of misgendering someone, so that's why we're proposing this.
Thank you. Next up, we have BPHD. Dropped. You were first. I saw them first. Go. Do you still have a new point? Are you dropping it? Please vocalize. Technical from Gabriel.
Gabriel, President, I think I understand the confusion. It's just that you're supposed to, before you even open the floor, ask the proposers and the seconders, which is why they were.
Okay, SFD.
Yes, we are seconding this motion because we think it's a part of the mission to have our events inclusive, tolerant, and to avoid confusion, to avoid misunderstanding, to be perfectly kind and tolerant to each other, and we think this would ease the process, considering that this would be also an option. You don't have to do it if you don't feel like it, you would be presented with an option to do it if you want to. So we think it's
Next up, we have Shasafada.
My question is just how are you, what are your thoughts on implementation of this? Like to add like a sticker to the credential or to put it already in the form? Because we have just the concern that if it's in the form, it may be about the GDPR not completely okay because we're not supposed to get information that's not crucial.
BPHD was first with the direct.
Today's on BPHD. I personally think that, we think pronouns are essential information.
Hafez? We'll take it as a new point then. Shasafada?
I mean, at least in our regulations, it's about the information that is necessary for the organization of the event. Like, I'm not contradicting this motion, I'm just wondering about the execution, because we have the form along already, and we don't want to add an information that may be not meant to be there.
Okay, Hafez with the direct.
Which is why I'm in Portugal. We usually already ask for the gender of the person because sometimes it's also important for the room allocation or something. So there, people can just like express their gender, and then you can have a little checkbox of like, do you want your gender identity to be stated in your credential? And then people can say yes or no and have their gender in the credential. And it can be a sticker, it can be just printed, just be there if they want to.
Thank you. We have a new point from Gabriel.
Gabriel, President, on behalf of the executive, we would just like to say that we support the approval of this motion, especially now that it was changed. Thank you for that. Many of our partner associations already have this practice, or even practices further to make people comfortable with stating their pronouns. And we have already, as FCC, included this in our signatures for email, so we believe that this is the correct step forward.
Thank you. And we have Hafez with a new point. Dropped. Are there any new points? Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, and I close the floor for discussion on the motion.
Okay, then we will proceed to voting on the motion that reads the 64th EBSA General Assembly mandates the 44th EBSA Annual Congress Reception Committee to provide participants the option of having their pronouns on their credentials. Are there any abstentions? Who is against? Who is for? Okay, I have 24 votes for, none against, no abstentions. The motion was carried unanimously. And moving on to the motion proposed by ANEF, seconded by CDPSA, which reads, the 64th EPSA GA General Assembly mandates the EPSA executive to distribute 50% of the money allocated to the EPSA team meeting fees during the annual Congress 2021 in Lyon to the Reception Committee Fund. This should be achieved by the 68th General Assembly the latest. This motion should not be reviewed. I open the floor for discussion. And, yes, okay. I'll ask the proposer to state their motivation.
Marion Banet, France, as explained yesterday by Maeva, considering they already have a surplus on the balance, the EC agreed with the EPSA team to not request the money for the EPSA team meeting expense at the annual Congress in Lyon, but to donate it to an EPSA fund. Looking the financial problem encountered by the reception committee at this autumn assembly, we are proposing for this fund to be directed to the RC fund in order to help the future RCs if needed. In the light of the current state of EPSA account, we do not intend to worsen the situation, which is why we are proposing the deadline of the 68th General Assembly to allow EPSA to pay in due time in installments.
Would the seconder like to say something? CCPSA.
Dominika CCPSA, Czech Republic. We decided to second this motion because we do believe that after the exceptional work that the reception committee of AC21 in Lyon did, they should have a say in how the money they decided to pay for the EPSA team meeting should be used. Therefore, we do believe, we do agree with this motion.
Thank you. And now I open the floor for discussion on this motion. Gabriel.
Gabriel, President, the executive is in full support of this motion. Thank you to the reception committee for also initiating this discussion. Yeah, and thank you for turning what would be an expense to EPSA into both saving money for EPSA, since we are saving 50%, and helping one of the funds that will help future RCs. We think this is really important.
Thank you. Are there any new points? Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, and I close the floor for discussion on the motion.
And we can proceed to voting on the motion, which reads, the 64th EPSA General Assembly mandates the EPSA executive to distribute 50% of the money allocated to the EPSA team meeting fees during the annual Congress 2021 in Lyon to the Reception Committee Fund. This should be achieved by the 68th General Assembly the latest. This motion should not be reviewed. Are there any abstentions? Who is against? Who is for? I have 24 votes for, none against, no abstentions. The motion was carried unanimously. Moving on to the motion proposed by BPSA, seconded by SFD, which reads, the 64th EPSA General Assembly mandates the EPSA executive to suggest removing Article 4.4 of the EPSA IPSF Memorandum of Understanding upon its next revision. I will ask the proposer for their motivation. BPSA.
After BPSA United Kingdom, after careful consideration and understanding, both EPSA and IPSF would not like to proceed that, and this will impact the negotiation. BPSA proposed to U-turn the decision and drop this clause and the other relevant clause as well. Thank you.
Okay, the proposer decided to drop the motion, so the motion is dropped, and we can move on to the motion proposed by BPSA, seconded by APEC Portugal, which reads, the 64th EPSA General Assembly mandates the EPSA executive to put the allowance of EPSA members representing EPSA to international health-related conference hosted by organizations such as, but not limited to, World Health Organization as one of the priority items in the negotiation of EPSA-IPSF Memorandum of Understanding from the EPSA side. I will ask the proposer for their motivation, BPSA.
After BPSA United Kingdom, again, BPSA understand that this would impact the negotiation between both organizations, we would like to drop this and seek other channels to propose what we try to achieve here.
Okay, so the proposer decided to drop the motion, so the motion is dropped. We can move on to the motion. Oh, sorry, Gabriel?
Gabriel, sorry, maybe if I could just have a point on these.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Gabriel, President, we would like to thank the BPSA and both the second and both motions for this careful consideration. We also discussed with IPSF Bureau, who is here represented, and we both agreed that that it would impact our negotiations, but rest assured that throughout the whole process, also with the timeline that's been communicated to you, we will take all of your opinions into consideration, and in the end, you will be the ones voting on the final version of the memorandum of understanding. So all of your wishes will end up there.
Thank you. And now we can proceed to the next motion proposed by APEF, seconded by ANEF, which reads, the 64th EPSA General Assembly mandates the EPSA Executive to investigate the restructure of the Public Relations Department by the 65th General Assembly, the latest. This investigation shall involve the EPSA member associations, and there should be at least 2 meetings to gather input from them. I would like to ask the proposer for their motivation. APEF.
Just what happened in Portugal, we were proposing this motion because we have noticed that in the past few mandates, the PR department always have some problems by doing their tasks. So we believe that there are some issues in their internal organization, and because of these, we are proposing to have an investigation on the structure of it to try to solve the problem and maybe also find the main issues and better strategies to resolve it with this restructuring.
I would like to ask the secretary if they want to speak. Annette?
Marion, Annette France. We believe include member association is important so we can understand what's happening and what doesn't work, and also can provide some information so that can be useful for us on it.
Thank you, and with this, I open the floor for discussion. Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, we were under the impression that the motion was not going to be discussed since we already added this investigation to the EPSA restructure document, which will be following up until the next General Assembly. We don't have anything against it, but it will change nothing of what was already done.
APEF?
In Portugal, we actually discussed this with the executive, and we totally accept it as long as we have the confirmation that the member association will be involved at least in 2 meetings to gather input from them, because we also think that it would be better to maybe have our PR departments involved in the discussion, because a lot of member associations have actually good PR departments working with great PR strategies that are working, and this could be some input to bring to EPSA and improve its work as well.
Thank you. Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, then just so that it is in the minutes, we do pledge that we will do at least 2 meetings and involve the PR department if you so wish.
Thank you. Are there any other points? APEF?
Just in Portugal, so with this in mind, we would like to drop the motion. Thank you.
Okay, the proposer decided to drop the motion, so the motion is dropped. And now we can move on. Sorry, Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, the executive would just like to have a point on member motions to talk to all of you about the surprise that were all these member motions at last minute. In every email that the Parliamentary Council sent to you, you knew that the usual procedure is to consult the DC for the wording to make sure that the motions you are thinking about proposing are in line with the regulations, and to consult with the executive in order to act so that we can also help you with the content. We were still able to discuss with all of you the content of your motions, but we had to do it really last minute, and we could have planned for it in advance and before the submission, so that when the motions were submitted to the rest of the members, they already included these comments and that members did not spend time preparing, for example, for motions that would be dropped after, or so that members wouldn't spend time preparing for motions that then would be changed last minute in the General Assembly. So we would just encourage you all for the next General Assembly to please reach out to us before with the content. We can help you reword the motions and we can greatly reduce the time of discussion here. Also because ODs will be better prepared because they will be preparing their discussion for the final hearing of the motion.
Giuseppe Portugal, just so we can personally apologize ourselves, we actually knew that, but our reason was because we were focusing on preparation of the whole GA, and we kind of just left the member motions to the last minute as well, because the deadline was the longer. So yeah, that's why we know that it's extremely important to discuss it with the executive, but we were not able to because of these reasons that I just mentioned. But we would just like to apologize because of that on behalf of our association. Thank you.
Thank you. Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, just one more thing that I would like to note. This is for this point, but for your work in general with EPSA, for the LSs, you should always CC the Vice President of Internal Affairs when you send an email. And like even some of the motions were sent to the Parliamentary Council without the Vice President of Internal Affairs CC'd in the email, so the executive would inform when PC informed them, which in this case was right away, but it could not have been the case. So please remember to do that throughout your mandate.
Thank you. And for the next couple of points, I will pass the facilitation to Michal.
Can we proceed now to the next agenda point, being the 18th EPSA Assembly Chairperson discharge. The motion reads, the 64th EPSA General Assembly discharges Maria Tina Sargini as the 18th EPSA Assembly Chairperson. I now open the floor for discussion. Carolina? Sure. Marina?
Marina VPA. Marina, I just wanted to say thank you for your work. It's been amazing having you in the department, and we will be all very sad to let you go. And that's like the sad part of having chairpersons in the department because you only get them for half a year. But all in all, just very, very thank you for your work, and also thank you for being an active EPSA team member on top of all your work as an RC member and chairperson.
Thank you. Carolina?
Carolina Luna, on behalf of the team before, we would also like to thank you for all your hard work and the collaboration that we had. You did an amazing job and it was a great event, so you should be really proud of yourself, and please forward the thank yous to all your team.
Thank you, Carolina. We now have Asad.
So welcome, Asad. I will also third the last two inputs by saying thank you for a great event. For me personally, it's been my first big full episode, and for that I really thank you. I especially admired the way how you communicated. You were always sort of communicating last minute when there's any last minute changes, when there are inconveniences, for example, with the lunches. You provide us alternatives, not only for the more academic aspects, but also for the more leisure aspects. You're always there to give us options and give us the ability to do what we want to do. And for that, I guess most of us agree in thanking you for always being on point and providing us with
Thank you. Now we have Clement.
Chairperson IC23. Yeah, I would like to thank you in the name of the following RC for all of your help and sharing experience, and really for this amazing event. You have set really high standards also for our event, and we hope to see you in Pocătări. Thanks.
Thank you. We now have Gabriel. Gabriel present, so our events coordinator is now holding a workshop, but we would also like to thank you on behalf of EBSA, you and the whole reception committee. It was a hard journey, but we're here almost in the last day before the gala, and we hope that you have as much fun as RC as we did. And if you didn't, we just hope that you come to many more events to have fun yourselves and enjoy what the others will do for you, because you definitely deserve the rest. Also happy just the rest. Thank you. We then have PhD.
Viva PhD, we would also like to thank you in the name of the RC of the Summer University. You were so amazing to work with, and you helped us so much, even though we had so much stuff going on our own. And we're so thankful for you getting this event together. I really hope you enjoy it as well.
Thank you. We proceed to GPSF now.
Happy to disagree. Marina, we want to say that we are highly proud of you for making this thing into reality, for working so hard all these 3 years from the very beginning of the presentation of the lead until the very last moment, still working, for making the whole RC sign their positions, and for making so many other things around you. Thank you very much.
Question from Ahmed.
Joseph, in Portugal, can we not discharge her and just have her with us?
Thank you. Kathy?
Kathy, events coordinator. Yeah, sorry, I arrived a little bit late because I had my events workshop. But I also really want to thank you and the whole RC for all the work you've done. It has been a pleasure collaborating with you and having you in the internal affairs department. You really made our girl group more fun, and it was lovely, and I will miss you in our department, and I hope I'll meet you at a lot of future events.
Thank you. We now have Marina.
Marina, chairperson of AA22, I guess for the last time. Please discharge me, but but I really want to thank all of you, both for your kind words, but also for being here, for being very supportive, even as participants and ODs, without knowing any of the situation or what is going on. You were always there for us as well, and you made us want to provide the best possible event for all of you. And we're also really proud of you as participants. And thank you so much for everything. The EBSA team, the participants, the ODs, everyone that was here for us, and everyone that enjoyed and let us know that they enjoyed the event. And hopefully you actually did enjoy the event, because we really did. And even though it was a hard journey, indeed, we will miss it. The next day will be a bit empty, to be honest. We won't know what to do with our time right now. But really, thank you so much for everything, and hopefully you had a great time in Greece. And let's hope that the weather will will allow us to enjoy not GA, no. Nope. Gala tonight until a bit later. Let's hope so. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Gabriel? Gabriel present, and then I close the floor for discussion. Thank you, Gabriel. Then we proceed to voting on the motion that reads the 64th EBSA General Assembly discharges Marina Salidi, the 18th EBSA Ultimate Assembly Chairperson. Who is abstaining? Who is against? Who is for? Thank you. We have 24 votes for, none against, no abstentions. The motion was carried unanimously.
proceed to the next agenda point, being the appointment of the 44th EPSA Annual Congress chairperson. The motion reads the 64th EPSA General Assembly appoints Clement Bella as the 44th EPSA Annual Congress chairperson. I hereby open the floor for discussion. Marina?
Marina DPA, I just then wanted to extend a very warm welcome from the Internal Affairs Department that you're joining right now, basically.
Thank you, Marina. Do we have any more points? I see none. Gabriel?
I close the floor for discussion.
Thank you, Gabriel. Then we'll proceed to voting on the motion that reads the 64th EPSA General Assembly appoints Clement Bella as the 44th EPSA Annual Congress chairperson. Are there any abstentions? Who is against? And who goes for? Thank you. We have 24 votes for, none against, no abstentions. The motion was carried unanimously. We now proceed to the next point, being the appointment of the 23rd EPSA Summer University chairperson. The motion reads, the 64th EPSA General Assembly appoints Olivia Dobek as the 23rd EPSA Summer University chairperson. This motion should come into effect with the third meeting. I'll open the floor for discussion. Marina?
Marina VPA, also on behalf of the Internal Affairs Department, if not immediately, but at least in December, we will be very welcome to have you with us.
Thank you, Marina. Are there any more points? I see none. Gabriel?
I close for the floor for discussion. President Gabriel.
Thank you, Gabriel. We proceed to the voting. The motion reads the 64th EPSA General Assembly appoints Olivia Dobek as the 23rd EPSA Summer University chairperson. This motion should come into effect with the third meeting. Are there any abstentions? Who goes against? And who is for? Thank you. We have 24 votes for, none against, no abstentions. The motion was carried unanimously. Gabriel?
Gabriel, President. So on behalf of the whole EPSA team, and although Olivia will only join us in a couple of months, I give you welcome to our team. We're really looking forward to working with you.
Thank you, Gabriel. We proceed to the next agenda point, being the immediate past president discharge. Marina, technical?
Marina VPA, I wanted to ask if the executive can go to the fact that you also see the maybe presentation this afternoon.
That's okay. Okay, so the motion reads the 64th EPSA General Assembly discharge of Joseph Goodman, immediate past president 2022-2023. Open the floor for discussion. Joseph?
This is RTD. Maybe for the long time. So yeah, I prepared for you a short presentation. to basically sum up the 3.5 years of being a team member and 4 or 5 years of being participant at the event. As to start with this gift, I don't know who knows the target guide to the galaxy, but so thanks for all the credit. And let's move on to the beginning. So how it all started. As the high school musical taught us, there's always started something new. And it was actually my first congress in 2018 in Pablo, in Netherlands. This is the time when, being my 3rd year of university student, I first encountered EPSA and found out that, oh, these people are kind of cool, and there are people with good ideas, and let's bring it back to my association, let's do something differently, and let's see what the Europe can offer to our small association in Czech Republic. So that was my start, but after a year, when I finished my mandate in CSBSA, I was, honestly speaking, I didn't know what to do with my time. So I decided to run for the EPSA team. I decided for Science for Nature because that was position closest to my heart, and the educational department very gladly accepted me. So this is our first team meeting, and my first team meeting. That was happening in 2019 in Slovenia, and yes. So, I'm sorry, I was doing this presentation like 2 weeks ago. I don't really remember what photos I was there. As you know, 2019 and 2020 was the pandemic year, the time when everything went south. And actually we had our last event in March 2020. It was the annual reception. It wasn't spotlight because just the evening before, the executive got a message from the European Parliament that they can't use it. So they had to find, during basically one evening, a completely new venue. But they managed, the team managed, everyone worked so hard to still do this meeting. And inadvertently, we didn't know that we were saying goodbye for a year and a half, 2 years of being in person at EPSA events, at team meetings, and just meeting each other around Europe. The important part, as I said, my first 2 years in EPSA been being part of the education department, also known as the best department in EPSA. I think all the educational department people in this group can attest to that. So this was an amazing opportunity. It was 2 teams. First one led by Michael Spoliet. He was the Vice President of Education 2019-2020. And he was a great mentor who taught me how to work in EPSA and how to be part of the team. And then I had the opportunity to take over his great legacy and be the Vice President of Education 2020-2021 with an amazing team where we just kind of suddenly faced being online completely. No educational events, no website events, no preparations. So yeah, you will see a lot of screenshots of new meetings or other meetings. I would like to here thank the people from the past educational departments. You've been amazing, and I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of how the educational department grew, and I'm really happy that some people stayed for another year. I'm really happy that from another department, the educational department from the last year, people decided to stay and step up on higher positions in that association. So it's always good to see that there's some legacy in what you do. Moving on, the first online executive year. This is overlapping with when I was the Vice President of Education, and yeah, there was a lot of, at that time, still Adobe Connect meetings. Probably no one knows this anymore because we moved to Zoom during this year. But yeah, it was a lot of meetings online, seeing the faces, and it was hard, and I think everyone can attest to that. But we did our best, and yeah, a lot of memes also came out of these years with the photos or screenshots of the people came around. So moving on to okay, there's life executive here. So this is actually the last year when I had the great opportunity and privilege to be the president of EPSA. And yeah, I'm very happy and to be part of EPSA and to lead the association for a whole year, and to also be, thanks to that half year with you, with the new team and advice. So, yes. Also, the last year, we had the first live event and the first team meeting after 2 years of online ones. I was in Lyon. It was tense and it was tough. But I think at the end, forgetting the little trauma and the stress, we are looking back to that good times, and it was when we made the team photos together, and it's very nice to look back and see that we've been again almost 5 years of this. With this, I would like to thank the last EPSA team, so the EPSA team 2021-2022. Thank you very much for all your support. Thank you very much for being a great team. I couldn't do it without you, which is no understatement. And also, my biggest thanks are going to the executive of this year. You've been my greatest support. Yes, again, I wouldn't be able to do it without you, and I think we did our best to move EPSA further and to give a good groundwork for the next teams to come, to build on our legacy and build on our achievements. But just to look back into history, we are always saying that EPSA is bringing you a lot of, in terms of professional and personal development. So I just tried some of the life lessons that are coming from my time in EPSA. First, I mean, you really have to find a good, comfortable position for me. You will be spending a lot of time in meetings, being live or online, so a good position is key. If you fall asleep, that happens. Being an EPSA team member, we are always saying we are going to meet our members. So it's really important to know how to represent, how to have fun, and yeah, how to create the EPSA spirit to our member associations, and to show that, yeah, we are not just regular, we are also fun people sometimes. Almost all of us. What I saw basically was meetings are a really good way of communication, and I would like to really thank Max for being the main mediator over the past 2 years, and summing up our meetings, summing up fun interactions during the team meetings, but also making fun of the active, sometimes not even indecisive. But yeah, it's very much needed, and also a good change of pace and a good way to bring some topics to the rest of the team. Also, and I have to thank this to Marlene, I really learned that EPSA history is fun. There's a lot that happened, and I can recommend you, if you will have time, browse the archives, find the most ridiculous motions, like the one from Malta, being mad that they have Polish flag. Or the chairperson from early 19th drawing a hand-drawn map for their new team to visit her in Ireland for the first meeting. Because those were the times when Google Maps didn't exist. But yeah, EPSA history is a lot of fun, and I can guarantee you will learn more during the 45th anniversary. We are preparing some amazing stuff to bring you the fun that we had this morning that we've been going through the physical archives as well. It is important to stay calm, because people will leave, people will be forgetting, but the minutes will stay. Some last words. It's not easy to be a team member, it's not easy to be part of EPSA, but at the end, it's all about the people that are working with you, because they will make the difference. And you can play this many photos. So yeah, what to do now? As I said, I started Netflix. I didn't know what to do with my free time. But I guess it's time to get some rest, but also find out what to do on free evenings, on free weekends, what to do when I don't have to go to OEM, when I don't have to read minutes, reply to emails and stuff. So definitely rest and yeah, doing nothing but Monday. You can bet I will do nothing but Monday, except going through. But I'll be back. Definitely. Yeah, I'm not disappearing for good. We'll definitely see each other at some of the future events, as I said. The anniversary is coming up in Slovenia next year. So definitely I'll be around and hopefully we'll be able to catch up and have some fun. So I won't have to be sitting at that table. So thank you very much for everything. Thank you for Jackson, for everything for these 3 years, 3.5 years, for everyone who left, for all the friends and relationships and my love. So thank you very much, and yeah, have a good rest of the Monday. Have fun. Enjoy being episode team. Enjoy being Alexis. Enjoy being official delegates, event coordinators, APRs, whatever, or just participants having fun at the event. Enjoy it while it lasts.
We are still taking points. There are many. Marina. Go ahead, Marina. Yeah.
Marina BPA. I don't know Marina, who has been for a long time in EPSA. I'm trying to make this short and sweet because I think in private I have told you a little bit too many times how much I will miss you and how much I'm not ready to let you go. But I just wanted to say, since I have, this is making me old, but I've been in EPSA longer than you, and it's been a pleasure to watch you grow from the science coordinator to taking over, being a part of an executive, and then taking charge and leading EPSA, and it's also been a pleasure of being part of your executive and just seeing that we work together, very well as part of the administrative department. And yeah, before I go to off the point, just a big thank you for sharing a lot of EPSA history and the archives and all the fun that we had together and all that you could also bring to the table, and I just really appreciate how much work and part of your life you put into this.
Thank you, Marina. We now have CPSA.
Dominika CZPSA Czech Republic, on behalf of CZPSA, I'd also like to thank you for all the work you did for both EPSA and us. We are super proud to have you. You inspired a lot of people to become active, to push forward. We even still use your old saying as our password, so it also says something. We really like to wish you good luck with all your future endeavors, and you are more than welcome to visit us anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, CPSA. We now have Carolina.
Carolina Alumna, so on behalf of the team 2021-2022, I would like to thank you for leading us and everything that you've done. It's been a lot of long nights, weird meetings, a lot of mental breakdowns, a lot of crying, so we've been through it. Now we can come to the fun part of EPSA. We can go drinking later, don't worry. And also as a person who has been there since the first day you've met EPSA, you should be very proud of how much you've grown and how much you've accomplished. because I don't think that Joseph in 2018 would recognize you right now and how much he did. So congrats. Have you also love you.
Thank you, Carolina. Do we have any more points? Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, and on behalf of this team for this year, which you so nicely decided to still accompany and not drop. Thank you for staying and for working, even though your position doesn't require that much work, for still having your projects and still wanting to leave your legacy during the mandates that you were supposed to already renting. We appreciate your input and we will continue to ask, or at least I will continue to ask every year.
Thank you, Gabriel. Are there any more points? Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, then I close the floor for discussion on the motion.
Thank you. We proceed to the voting on the motion that reads, the 64th EBSA General Assembly discharges Joseph Kuhn, immediate past President, 2022-2023. Are there any abstentions? Who is against? Who goes for? Thank you. We have 24 votes for, none against, no abstentions. The motion was carried unanimously. Gabriel, bullshit.
Gabriel, President, executives spread out. We have space for our arms now.
We then proceed to the next agenda point, being the any other business. I open the floor for discussion. We first have Apet.
Just what happened in Portugal, I really feel bad now to just get again with serious business. I mean, not that was not serious, but you got the point. Okay, so during the approval of the G minutes arose upon a point, I was suggested to leave it for the any other business. So that is the point that we're raising now, which is the rep fund of Fatoumata in the previous GA. So I would just ask if there is any more information regarding that matter.
Thank you, Apet. With Gabriel.
Gabriel, President, I have liaised with Fatoumata, and she has not received any information from Ryanair. She's inclusively done a second complaint, but there's no response on this side. We don't think that the money will come.
Thank you, Gabriel. We then have on the speaking bench Marina.
But in any case, also like trying to get back to serious business. We just wanted to quickly update you for transparency reasons what we learned also from the organizing of this GA, and it's basically that for like with this cooperation with DRCs, that we are creating the contract template for DRCs, and are also, for example, including like we're stating EBSA's like duties in this a little bit better, because the contract right now is more on a like very case-to-case basis, but we will uniform it so that it's also like more clear for all future people. So you'll get an update as soon as the template is done.
Thank you, Marina. We then have the EBSA International.
International Turkey. Thank you for the last time. Because we want to be called as International Turkey as it's adopted in the EU.
Thank you, Marina.
Marina VPA, just as from EBSA side, we're already working on it. As you can see, the master contact figure also already stated as Turkey, and we also try to like update everything right now. If you spot anything that we missed, please inform us about this.
Sorry, Mumsa.
We have a direct from Mumsa.
I think Musa Turkey. Thank you for informing everybody, and we also would like to be called as Musa Turkey and not Musa Turkey.
Thank you. Thank you. We proceed now to the next point, being Katarina.
As I sent you an email in the first day, and we also warned you about it, that we would be talking to you about this during AOB. PGEU, which is the Pharmaceutical Group of the European Union, asked EFSA members about if you could do your mandatory internship in community pharmacies, in pharmacies belonging to your parents or relatives. I did receive some replies, so thank you so much for those who have replied. Meanwhile, but I would like to have a little bit more representation from our members. So if you would be okay with that, can I ask for your countries and you would say if you have this information or not?
Thank you. In PSC, go ahead.
Aiding the PhD Netherlands. So just out of curiosity, we were wondering why the PGEU wants to know this.
Katarina, go ahead.
Katarina, PEA. Well, it's not the PGEU specifically. It's one of their members from Cyprus. They are doing a report on this, and they would like to inquire pharmaceutical students if they are able to do their community pharmacy internships in parents/relatives pharmacies.
Thank you, Katarina. SFD, go ahead.
Want to further inquire what is someone of this? Is this because of nepotism or some other issues?
Katarina.
Katarina, PEA. I have no more information to give you about this, but as we work with PGEU and they have been one of our partners for a long, long time, we just assured their request and thought it would be okay to talk to you and ask you if you would give us this information, as we didn't think it was like too confidential or something.
Thank you. Do we have any more comments? Questions or remarks? I see none. Then we proceed to the next point. Sorry, Gabriel.
Gabriel, President. So the point was to go for after giving so one at a time for them to take the answer.
Okay. Then we proceed one by one. Apple.
Annika Apple, Austria, as possible in Austria.
Thank you. BFSO.
Beautiful. It's also possible in Belgium.
Thank you. BFSA.
Bulgaria, you can choose Bulgaria. Vanessa. Sorry, it is possible in Bulgaria.
Thank you. CSA. Thank you. USA.
Thursday is the Czech Republic after the
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. SOP. Thank you. Was it audible? Okay, thank you. You can see Annette.
So after Susan for audition about it, so we think it's possible in practice. So we think it's possible in theory, but in practice we don't do it because our faculty they don't agree with that.
Thank you. Now have your PhD.
Teresa, the PhD, yes, it's possible.
Thank you. GPSF.
And those of you in Greece, it's possible in Greece.
Thank you. Iceland. Okay. Okay, thank you. PSA.
Elina LTC Latvia, it's possible in Latvia.
Thank you. SD.
Nina still believing it's possible in Lithuania.
Thank you. And PSA.
Teodora MPS in Northern Macedonia, it's possible to do it in our country as well.
Thank you very much. KPSB.
Any KPSB in the Netherlands, our universities also do not agree with it. So for other students, this is not really supposed to be happening.
Thank you. PPSA.
Olivia PPSA Poland, so it's not possible in Poland.
Thank you. Abel.
Just wrap in Portugal. So we found that in some of our universities it is possible, but in some of them it is not. So we do not have a patronized method to all of our universities. But also something that we found is that the person supervising the internship cannot be of the family.
Thank you. We now have Pastor.
Bianca Petre, Romania, it's pastor in Romania.
Thank you. Amsterdam.
Vanya, Serbia, it's possible for Serbia as well.
Thank you. SPSI.
Simona SPSA Slovakia, it is possible in Slovakia.
Thank you. Joseph.
Yeah, Joseph Slovenia, I believe it's possible in Slovenia.
Thank you very much. Ted.
Victor from Spain, yeah, it is possible that you have to ask for it.
Thank you. We now have Asad.
About other Switzerland, it is possible in Switzerland.
Thank you. And then Yusuf.
In Turkey, it's possible to do it with the relative, but not first degree parents.
Thank you. Musa.
Aylin Musa, Turkey. I could just read that. It is possible for the distant relatives, but not the first degree relatives.
Thank you. We then have Yusuf.
Anastasia, Ukraine, Yuksa. Yeah, it is possible in Ukraine.
Thank you very much. And BPSA.
We can only speak on behalf of Great Britain. So for Northern Ireland, we do not do that. In Great Britain currently, it is possible to do within university. However, during your foundation year, which is the year after you graduate and the year before you register to the board, you cannot have significant relationship with the employer, director, employee, and owner of the pharmacy. However, there are some universities in the UK that offer 5-year programs that include this foundation year. In that case, this restriction applies. So that's clear.
Thank you very much. Katarina?
Katarina VPEA, just like to thank you all for your collaboration. I will be taking emails if you want to add something else to your reply until tomorrow, Sunday, because I'm supposed to give feedback to them on Monday. But until then, feel free to reach out to me, and thank you so much again.
Thank you. We then have EFSO.
Louis so I just wanted to add something to my response after closed the inspection. It is possible, but it strongly encouraged to do so.
Thank you. And we now have KPSB.
Eline KPSB, the Netherlands. Although we found it very interesting to hear this from every country, it seems like this is a very specific question, and I understand that through the GA you can obviously get everyone to respond, because we all see that in the emails if anyone asks us something, we're not all responding, but we were wondering if this really is the place to ask this, because you could have also done it more in the LS chat, and our time is precious, and I don't know if Exec wants to do this more often, but that's just our opinion on this little questionnaire.
Thank you. Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, regarding doing this more often, we can also ask you about it. We'll probably decide to do it again, but for this time it was an urgent matter, and we already have the GA here, and we are still quite on them. We did not do any of this extraordinary GA session, so we decided to do that.
also taking into consideration the partner that is BPU, since they're our longest-standing partner. They do allow us to use their office as our official address. They also give us for free their venues whenever we need to do a team meeting, an exec meeting, anything, offices, that's what I meant. So yeah, we thought that this was the best approach to do it in this specific situation.
Thank you. KPSG, go ahead.
Alien KPSG Netherlands. Okay, thank you for clarifying. It's not a big problem, and indeed we're not running late. It was just a little surprising to us that a lot of stuff are asked just through the emails, and then this was all of a sudden going this way. But through the clarification and the agreement in the room, it was no problem. So look forward to doing it again.
Thank you, KPSG. We then have Apple.
Annika Afakostra, this is again any other business, not connected to the other topic, and it's also about the name. We just want to state our name again, it's AFEP, because we heard very interesting name variations again, and just to lighten this a bit, maybe you can try to say AFEP. That would be super, super nice for us. Thank you.
Do you want the GC to do it now during this GA? Gabriel?
Gabriel, President, since this was clearly a bullshit, I would recommend that I count to 3, and then after 3, we all say the name correctly. Alright? 1, 2, 3, Alpha. It was wrong. Good try, though.
Thank you, Gabriel. We now have a point from PPSA. It's dropped. In this meeting case is clear. Are there any more points? Ahmed? Well.
Giuseppe, Portugal. So yeah, we could not do this and the GA without saying this. Basically, we would just like to thank all of you that are here present. It's our last time here as official delegates. It's also my last GA as an AFFLS, and I just wanted to say to all of you that this past year was really probably one of the best experiences that I've ever had. I learned so lot. I learned so much from like every single one of you, and this kind of environment, all of us just sharing our point of views, the knowledge that we have, and just exchanging practices, trying to represent our students. This is something very much valuable. This is something that we really should aim for, because this is not only making us grow, but also bringing something beneficial for all of European pharmaceutical students. I don't know, I'm a little bit of emotion. Okay, but I really wanted to thank all of you and to just keep promoting this kind of environment, because this is something. That's it, something.
I just want to thank you all for all your work, for being a great experience for all of us. And we would like to thank you very, very much. So thank you. And good luck to your future levels. I'm sure it was great.
Thank you, GPSF. Do we have any more comments or questions? Yumsa?
Katerina Yubsa, Ukraine. At the beginning, I want to say thank you to all of you for our first half of year Yubsa being a participant of EPSA. And I want just to share opinion of our association that it was amazing half of year, and we tried to show you how much we are interested in participating in EPSA, how much we want to grow with you, we want to share and to show you how
involved we want to be. We want to be effective members, and we're really grateful for all support from EPSA team, from OLCs, from people from the General Assembly, and yeah. I just want to say thank you that you set up all of you, and we will see you for sure at the all next EPSA events. Thank you.
Thank you. Marina, would you eight drop? Are there any more remarks taken now? I see none. Then we proceed to the next agenda point, being closing words of the President and the closure of the 64th General Assembly. Gabriel?
Gabriel, President. So in order not to take any more of your time so that we can all prepare for gala, I just wanted to thank you all so much for the discussions that we had here. We had some really important ones this time for EPSA, for member associations, but most importantly for pharmaceutical students that we represent. So let's keep it up during the offline period. I hope to see a lot of responses in all of the email threads, and more than you responding to our initiatives, I hope that we also see a lot of initiatives coming from members, because we welcome it greatly. Finally, before we leave, I would just like to take the opportunity to I'm always thanking the opportunity. I would like to take the opportunity to thank the RC and the Hilton team for all the work they've been doing in the background so that we can stay here and worry about the AC or the windows. I would like to thank the scrutineers that have been running around for us, the meeting secretaries that have been writing on their laptops despite all the difficult discussions, the team that while the executive is here leading the discussions is representing us in the workshops and in trainings, and finally to all of you guys, because you make the General Assembly the official delegates, so your contribution is the most important one here. And I ask Elisa to do the roll call.
Elisa second, so I will propose the last roll call before we all go party. Pep Austria, VFSO Belgium, CPSA Croatia, sorry, CPSA Czech Republic, South Denmark, ANA France, DPSA Germany, GPSF Greece, LPSA Latvia, SFA Lithuania, MPSA North Macedonia, APC the Netherlands, PPSA Poland, APA Portugal, Boston Romania, NAFSA Serbia, SPSA Slovakia, Switzerland Slovenia, PEP Spain, ASP Switzerland, SNOP Sweden, that is ASP Switzerland, UPSA International Turkey, UPSA United Kingdom.
Please wait a few minutes. Israel. Elisa, go ahead.
Elisa Sefton, I've collected 24 voting cards.
And I close. Suspend the standing orders. Pick up your flags and come to the front. Let's take a picture together.